when I first stepped on campus, I remember just having Coach Miller and Keller just put me on the scale and just seeing that number. And it was just like, son, we got work to do. They've been by my side from the beginning to like right now as we speak.
This is the Sean Miller Podcast, presented by Deer Park Roofing. Now, here's your hosts, Paul Fritchner and Adam Baum, with the head coach of the Xavier Musketeers, Sean Miller.
Welcome into another episode of the Sean Miller Podcast, presented by Deer Park Roofing, and also the official payroll sponsor of the Sean Miller Podcast, Payroll Partners. I'm Paul Fritchner, sitting alongside Adam Baum and the head coach of the Xavier Musketeers, Sean Miller. And to my left, it is John Hugley. We just wrapped up the first day of official practice here at Xavier. John, a transfer into the program, spent 3 years at Pitt, 1 year at Oklahoma, now here to the Queen City, your home state of Ohio. Yes, you come here to Cincinnati to play for the Musketeers as Xavier. John, it's great to be joined by you here on the show as we kind of run through all of the transfers into this program. Next up here on the show, great to have you on. Great to be here with you and have you here at Xavier. Let me just hear your first impression of being here on campus. We have a lot to get to in terms of your physical journey here to where you are now in the last week of September. But just how are you doing, first of all, and how have you enjoyed your Xavier experience so far?
I mean, I enjoyed it to the amazing, just being here with this amazing staff, from the managers, everyone's just all in. You could call a manager up any other time of the day, and they're here to help you. So just having that help and that bond and that relationship with the managers and the coaches, I love it.
John, when you say managers, I don't think a lot of people really understand what you mean by it because, I'm biased because, I'm the coach, but I think we have the finest group of managers in college basketball. And,
definitely.
It's helpful sometimes to even talk to guys like yourself because you have a perspective of a couple other different programs, coaches, programs in the ACC and the Big 12. But when you categorize our managers or you talk about the difference, what do you mean when you say, man, our managers are good?
Just the energy and effort that they bring every day, coming from the universities that I came from, it'd only be like 4 or 5 managers. Here we realistically have about 15 to 20. And they all just bring it every day from the top guy on the manager to the youngest one. So I just love that.
Yeah, no, they're the best. I don't know if we have 50. I think I do think we have in and around 12 though. Yeah. And man, those guys, they're grateful to be a part of the program. It's amazing the details that they handle for all of us, not just yourself, but the coaching staff. They make our program better. There's no doubt about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
John, I think the best way to start this is to ask you about your physical journey here at Xavier because that's what has been brought up the most, and that's what I think people know the most about with you so far, and how much work and effort and energy you've had to spend over the last 4 months getting yourself into physical playing shape to get to this point now, about 6 weeks away from opening night. So let's go back to your first day here at Xavier and your first handshake with strength coach Andy Kettler and where you have now come to this point in your physical journey. Kind of take us through all of that.
Sure. That first when I first stepped on campus, I remember just having Coach Miller and Keller put me on the scale and just seeing that number. And it was just like, son, we got work to do. They've been by my side from the beginning to like right now as we speak. So just having Coach Miller and Coach Keller believe in me and really just, invest and take the time out to like really, focus on me getting in shape, I really appreciate them.
What was that number?
I was 316 when I first came on the campus.
I think the other thing too, Paul, is, if you go back, because I don't think everybody completely knows, part of how you changed physically coincided with really 2 separate injuries, right? And I think that how people handle injuries, especially when they're younger, like your first injury at Pitt, when you're not able to actually play, and for a while you're immobile, right? You can't even, walk around, certainly play basketball and run, and how 1 month becomes 2 and 3, and different things can get away from you, and then all of a sudden as you try to repair it and come back, you're like, wow, that's not as easy to come back, and you keep growing older. But I think part of why you came in where you came in late in the spring was that, in fact, your year at Oklahoma ended prematurely.
Yes, sir. So just having that injury, like that season, having that season-ending injury at Oklahoma, it kind of set me back behind the 8-ball. You know, I let myself get out of shape. But, like, from the focus when I first got here, like, just the focus that I need to get in shape. I can't play that big, and I've just been attacking it ever since then.
Yeah, you know, I would say that, you know, the first day, because you're right, I was there, and we kind of saw the starting point, and that is what it is. You know, to your credit, I don't know if I've been around. Actually, I'll correct myself. The one player that I told you that lost an amazing amount of weight is somebody who's been on the podcast before, and that's Jason Love. And, you know, Jason right now, he's an assistant coach with the Milwaukee Bucks. When he left here, John, he became the all-time winningest player in Xavier history. But when he showed up here, unlike yourself, he was younger when he was heavier. And he showed up here, God, in the maybe 290 as an incoming freshman. And same thing, he went to work and he lost weight. To this day, he's never gained it back. And he went on to have an amazing career. He really did. Yes, he had a horrific knee injury, and if he didn't, I believe he would have played a period of time in the NBA. But other than him, I've never been around in the 32 years that I've been a college coach, a player that's given more to lose weight, to go the extra mile on an every single day basis over time, more so than you. And that's to your credit. I give you a compliment. And we've had tough love. We've had our tough moments. You know, but always Coach Kett and I, our together goal, shared vision is we want John to have the opportunity to play the longest that he possibly can in this game, to have the biggest upside, to make the most money playing, to play the longest at the highest level he can get to. And I think the thing that's required, and I believe this, that you're starting to see it and feel it, is when you're in fantastic shape and you've invested all that you've invested to get in that shape, man, it's not easy to give that back. Sure. And I think that it coincides with you being at your best, you know? So, you know, I still don't think we're completely in the moment of he's in the best shape of his life. I do think we're headed in that direction. But that continues to be our goal together, that if John Hugley can become in the best shape of his life, all these things that we've talked about, which includes this season, him being at his best. And I think with him being at his best, that's our team being at our best as well. For sure. But I really mean it, John. And you know this. There's a reason you're last on this podcast.
Yes, sir.
On this year's team, because we weren't going to put you on here until you are the version you are right now.
Yes, sir.
So you know that was done strategically so that we could tell the story, allow you to tell the story. But your hard work is epic. And look, I don't want to just put it in as hard work. I would like you to talk about what you would have done kind of on a regular daily basis this summer, this fall. Just start in the morning, kind of work your way through it.
Coach Kett had me with my guy Brad. Shout out my guy Brad. You know, just pushing me every day. But an everyday base consisted of in the summer. Yes, sir.
Brad Colbert. Yeah.
Brad Colbert. In the mornings, I have lift at 8 o'clock, and then right after lift, we'd do an hour on the stairs, and then I will come back. We'll have a workout, an encore workout, and then after that, I'll go another hour on the stairs, and then around probably like 6 or 7-ish, I will go to yoga, and that became a everyday thing. If it wasn't the stairs, it was the Versa climber. If it wasn't the Versa climber, it was the Ultra G. So just having Coach Kett just throw different obstacles at me, you know.
So the Ultra G, a lot of people don't know what that is. How would you describe it?
It's kind of like the treadmill, but not like the treadmill. It's like you go into it and it's like an air compressor, and you basically just running on air, you know, your body weight.
So instead of you when you're running on the treadmill feeling like, for example, 300 pounds, you can program it so that you're running on like 250 pounds.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't hurt your lower body nearly as much. But it's amazing to sweat though. Go ahead.
That was actually given to a privilege. I couldn't step on the Ultra G until I was under 290. So from the time I was 316 to 290, I was literally just stepping away on the stairs every day, just looking at the same wall.
So you had to earn your way onto the Ultra G.
Yes, sir.
And then from 290, you went from there.
Yes,
yeah.
Sir.
No, it's remarkable, and I think that he only gave you one day. You know, understand that also included, you know, the week, and then at times a weekend day.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Yes, sir.
You've put some work in.
Yes, sir.
Have you signed that wall where you look at above the Stairmaster?
Nah, I just look at it anytime I get on it. I just put my head down like.
Nah, you got to get like a picture or something up there,
for sure,
to motivate you. But also, I wanted to point out when John says he's going to yoga, that's not like a very docile, low stress type. That's a hot yoga class.
Very hot yoga class. Yeah.
And me and Paul have actually gone with you to hot yoga. Paul's a freak. We've documented this. He doesn't drink water. He didn't sweat.
Do you know he doesn't drink water?
No, hold on. I'm throwing a red flag on this because my wife Lizzie watched this show last week when you guys got on me about the drinking water, and she goes, you have started to drink a lot more water in the last 14 months. Since you've held me accountable, this has been a team effort.
It has.
He's held me accountable. I drink 3 Yetis of water a day, which is not great, but
good.
It's more than it was.
Yeah,
you're not a water guy?
You can ask John. If John, I'm for a perspective.
Yeah.
If John would go through a regimen that he's going through, and let's say, of course he has to drink a little water, but let's say he does a poor job of actually hydrating, I think he'll tell you, he literally wouldn't make it through.
Yeah, literally.
I don't think he could get to day 2 without really working very difficult to replenish the liquids in him. So
Definitely.
more of along the lines of friend to friend, trying to look after your best interest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely to your advantage to drink as much water as you can.
I care about you, Paul.
I've learned that in the last 14 months since Baum has been on me. But yes, we did go to hot yoga with you guys, and I didn't sweat much. Baum was sweating like crazy.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
No, but I've been so impressed because, it's one thing to come in and to not be at your best, right? To be coming off an injury. You're in a new place with new people, new teammates, a new system. And it's like everyone else gets to sort of hit the ground running. And for you had to hit the ground running, but running in a different direction where it's like, man, until I can actually start to do what I need to do, because something we didn't really even talk about yet is throughout your career at Pitt and at Oklahoma, when you're healthy and when you're in shape, man, you can play. Like I think your best season at Pitt was like darn near a double-double.
Yes, sir.
But like that was your starting point. Your starting point was before I can be the guy that Xavier needs me to be, I have to transition and transform my body into what we're looking at right now. What are you at right now?
Stepped on the scale. That literally 15 minutes ago I was 272.
And for perspective, when you first stepped on the scale, that was at the end of May.
Yes, sir.
So here we are, we're at the end of September. You go June, July, August. You're in and around, I think, really close to being here for 4 months. And, you do the math on that. We're talking about 28 plus 16, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about 44 pounds. So he's lost 44 pounds. I think what's equally impressive, what your body fat was and what it is now, he's lost about 16% body fat. Yeah. So he's replaced a lot of his weight with muscle, which, he talked about Brad Colbert when he's lifted weights 3 days a week since he's gotten here. I mean, those are hard lifts. Those are lifts that are, I think, protecting him and building him up. So,
Definitely.
yeah, all of us are very proud. I mean, I'm really proud of Andy Kettler because I think Ket has taken on the challenge with John in a way that I think very few strength coaches would do.
Definitely.
He's brought out the best in him. He's, I think, created a standard for John to meet. At first, he was probably like, man, I don't know if I could keep doing this. But as you look at him today, he knows he can do it. He's already done it. And I also think that he has the tools and equipment to move forward, and a lot like Jason Love, to be this version of yourself for a long period of time. Yes, we also have a nutritionist that works with you. Mm-hmm. And I would just ask, is there any one thing or a couple things that you feel like you've learned from the nutritionist that you didn't know when you got here?
Yeah, definitely. Just, I was a guy where I would not eat breakfast. My first meal probably wouldn't come to 3 o'clock, and she was telling me absolutely not. That's not the way to go. So just having her and Coach Keller in my corner, both of them, they're amazing. Just having Aaron, just daily reminders, just sending me good stuff to eat, when I should eat, what time I should cut my meals out, just having a lot of fruit. So just having both of them on my side is truly amazing.
Yeah, good.
I want to take a step back here and talk about your decision to come to Xavier because you've played at the high major level. Like we said, you've been at Pitt for a while. You've been at Oklahoma for a year. Now you decide to come to the Big East. You're from Ohio, so you come a little closer to home. But just take us through your decision in the portal this year to come to Xavier.
Honestly, I give much respect to the Big East. I think the Big East is one of the best conferences in basketballs. And, just coming to play for Coach Miller, I feel like he's one of the best college coaches ever. His track record of the players that he have, just the conversations that we had in the process of me being in the recruiting process, were great conversations. So it was a no-brainer, just coming back to Ohio, playing for this beautiful state,
I think, now that you're in this position with your body, right, and you can actually start to do everything that is asked of you in practice and all that good stuff, what do you make of this team and what you're surrounded by?
I honestly think this is one of the best groups I've been a part of in college, just the togetherness we have, it's a lot of older guys, so it's easier to kind of gel together. I feel like it's a lot of brotherly love. Guys pick each other up. I feel like I'm playing with one of the best guards in the country with Davion. So just having that older leadership. It's not no freshman on the team. So it's like everyone picks each other up. Commends each other pretty well.
Yeah. And Sean, I think most of the people watching this, listening to this, games haven't started yet. A lot of Xavier fans, in particular, don't know that much about your game. So I was thinking, Sean, if you could talk to us about what John brings to this team, that'd be great.
So the first thing is to get him in great shape, and I really believe we're 90% there. There's a last 10% that I think would continue to give him even more athleticism, allow him to run easier than he's even running right now. But in my mind, John's gift, and I used to watch him as a fan because I went to Pitt. He played at Pitt, so I would always try to check games out when I could of watching who's on their team and how they look. But I think one thing that's always stood out about John is just hands. Sometimes bigs, they're clumsy or they're not coordinated in traffic. They catch passes in workouts, but you put the game and make it 5-on-5 and you put traffic out there and you put a lot of other people moving fast. It's not as easy for them to catch it. He catches the ball like it's easy. God gave him amazing hands. And the other thing is, for a big man, and John's always going to be a big, strong guy, he has great feet. Like, he can move. He's very agile. He's nimble. He can move from point A to point B. And I think just like those two things on someone his size give him an amazing edge. But when I've talked to the coaches that have coached against John when he's been at his best, some of them, by the way, are in the Big 12, but a lot of them were in the ACC when he was younger. They talked about having to trap him in the low post, his ability to score on the left block and score in the low post. And right now, we actually, and John will probably tell you, we haven't really done a lot of that to this point. We're building the base of our offense and our tempo and our defense. But as we get more into being able to throw the ball in there, I don't think there's a lot of guys that have the know-how and the ability that John has in and around the rim to get fouled or score. And the other part about that, like we talked about his hands and his ability quickness-wise, he also is a very good and willing passer. He actually enjoys passing the ball. I think he'll tell you that. So when he is double-teamed or he finds an open man for a big guy, he has that vision and the know-how of being able to pass. Bill Walton used to always talk to me about big guys that can pass, how it's an element that adds to a team that very few teams have. And I think John gives us that, but he gives you a low-post punch that I don't think is prevalent through college basketball at this point. But those coaches, even Virginia, you remember when you played Virginia when you were at Pitt?
Yes, sir.
They would trap you, right?
Yeah.
And again, having to dedicate two people should tell you a lot about the respect that they would have had for him.
John, I think one of the most fun things for us to watch in team workouts or now today practice every day, day in and day out, is that you're challenged by a guy like Basile Traore who, matches up with you down in the post every single day, high energy guy, good rebounder, and gives you that challenge. How much does having a guy like him every day in practice help you develop as a player?
Man, it's the best thing. I think that's the best thing that could have ever happened for my career as a basketball player. Having a guy with that just amazing motor and just that willing to just, he's a fighter. I love Basile. I feel like he's one of the best bigs in America. Just his toughness and his will. It gets me better. And I tell him every day, like, bro, I really love and appreciate you for this. like him boxing me out, him out-rebounding me, just having that same physical presence as I give to him every day, that's amazing. He doesn't let me take plays off. He brings it to me every day in practice.
The other thing with John and Basile, I think they really form a great duo, like a 1-2 punch. It's kind of like the running backs, like in football where you have the one guy who's big and strong and physical, loves to hit the middle of the line and, get 4 or 5 yards. Then you have that real fast guy who can come in as the changeup and run wide and catch balls out of the backfield, right? Like that 1-2 punch makes it more difficult for the defense. Some of John's strengths aren't Basile's strengths, and some of Basile's strengths aren't necessarily John's strengths. And I think when you put those two guys together on the same team, not only do you see it on an everyday basis, them pushing each other, but I also think that for our team, we're very fortunate because we have a lot of great characteristics out of both of them. And there's no reason why those guys couldn't be on the court together at times as well.
The Sean Miller Podcast is proud to partner with Deer Park Roofing, a company that's provided elite service for homes and businesses since 1996 and leads the industry in professionalism, quality, and responsiveness. Whether your needs are residential or commercial, like the outstanding work on the Cintas Center, the home of Xavier basketball, Deer Park can handle any job and ensure it's done right. Deer Park's motto is protect what's important, and what's important to you is important to Deer Park Roofing. Visit deerparkroofing.com.
What makes us human? Humanity is found in the actions that redefine care. Actions that we at TriHealth take every day. By seeing those who feel invisible, hearing needs that have been ignored, TriHealth is healing the body and the human spirit so all can know and live a better life.
Welcome back here to the Sean Miller Podcast. We appreciate you guys sticking with us. John, it would be one thing if you came here to Xavier and you were out of shape, you're coming off injuries, and you have to deal with all those things that we've already talked about, right? Mm-hmm. But on top of it, you're a dad.
Yes, sir.
You have a 1-year-old daughter.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about your daughter and tell us about the experience of trying to do what you're doing while also having a young kid at home.
Man, it's actually an amazing thing, just from her development and growth and just seeing how she, her different emotions that she brings to life every day. Just having her in my corner is an amazing edge and push for me, just knowing that I got someone who's counting on me at home, just having her in the gym with me or around the guys, I really appreciate my teammates for just being great examples. Anytime I ever brought her up here, just her little face, they welcome her, love her, joy her, just having her in my corner, like I said, is like no other. Days that I'm feeling down, I could just look at her and she says, "Papi, Daddy," it just, brings the biggest smile to my face. So, just, like I said, just loving that little girl.
When you were on the Ultra G or the stairs, how many times did you think of her?
Every time, every time I want to step down, I just be like, she was right here when I stepped down. So just having that extra thought in my head, that she's always in my mind,
Yeah.
John, when you step onto this court at Cintas for the first time this year, I think this is one of the things I always like to ask the guys that have come here for the first time, the transfers this year. What do you hope that Xavier fans know about you when they watch you for the first time on November 4th?
I'm a great character guy. I'm a guy who's going to bring it every game, just do everything for this, beautiful university, the fans here. I'm just going to be myself every time you see me on the court.
Coach, today was the first day of practice. I know we have John sitting here now, but I want to give you an opportunity to talk about this team now as you get the season underway. You have 30 practices in 42 days approaching November 4th, which is opening night here at Cintas. What can you tell us about this team as you separate yourself from the 10th War program and the summer workouts and now moving forward into the season? How excited are you seeing the depth of this team and what this team can be this year?
Yeah, John hit some of the characteristics that I feel strongly about. I agree with him. I think we're an experienced group. I think we have quality depth, not just in the guards or along the front line, but really in both. We have a lot of different guys that can do different things. My hope is that there'll be a number of games this year where maybe our leading scorer, certainly our leading rebounder, or a pivotal player in the game didn't start the game. He wasn't one of the 5 starters. We have that capability. And, I've learned in the 2 years that I've been back in the Big East that, it's a little bit like the NFL. They call it December football, right? Where it's just like the men are separated from the boys. The playoff teams are headed one way. Everybody else is just limping to the finish line. I think with the round-robin schedule in the Big East, the physicality of the league, the travel, the weather in the middle of the winter, you get into February, quality depth really serves you well. You feel the pain of not having it, and I believe this, if you're a team that in fact carries it with you, it can a lot of times be the difference and a lot of times allow you to finish as strong as you can. And look, all of us want to be good in March. All of us want to be at our best down the home stretch of the season. But, to get from where we are in September to March, there's a lot of things that are going to happen. Injuries, illness, foul trouble, sometimes a player that's not performing well. But that competitive spirit that I think we are able to have on an everyday basis can not only develop individual players like John, I think it can develop our team. So we're going to call on that depth and experience. And I think the other part John hit on with our team is, we do have firepower. And we have a lot of different guys who can make a basket, whether it's a three-point shot or somebody like John who can draw fouls, get to the free throw line, can score in the post. And again, that quality depth, even in scoring, can sometimes help you in a game where, for example, you just can't make one until you subbed him in. And so I think the depth is the number one thing that really stands out for me. And look, we have to stay healthy to keep that depth.
Yeah.
John, I got a question for you here. We've talked about it on this show, stripe work, right? So Coach has a system in place where, over the course of the summer, I think it continues during the season too, right?
Yeah. Sure.
So I think 5 out of the 7 days a week, you have to go to the free throw line with a manager or a member of the staff, and you have to make 50 free throws. Mm-hmm. And however many it takes for you to do that's your number for that day. So if it takes you 62 free throws to make 50, you went 50 of 62. I'm curious what your best mark at the line is. Do you know?
One time I went 53-55. I actually went 53-55 a couple times. The most I probably missed doing that was probably like 6, and I really hated it.
But you made 50 in a row.
Yeah, I made 50 in a row one time as well, too.
Right, so your best is 50 for 50.
Yeah, 50-50 I went.
Then, yeah.
I actually went 50-50 like 2-3 times, actually.
The reason
he has a nice touch from the free throw line. And look, he'll tell you, he has, through his career, gotten to the free throw line a lot. Again, one of the things when you think about him as a player, there's a reason he gets fouled as much as he has at both Pitt and Oklahoma. And I think that's a skill that will serve us well.
Yeah. The reason I bring that up is because I don't know if you know this, the Big East has been around for a really long time. Mm-hmm. Do you know who the 4th best free throw shooter all time is in the Big East Conference?
Coach Miller.
Yeah. So
you should know that. I mean, we were at Pitt together. I mean, you read that book, Coach
Miller.
So the second part of this question is, Coach, since I've been around you, since I've been around the team, I've never seen you shoot a basketball. If we had you go downstairs right now to the gym, I rebound for you, Paul would rebound for you. What do you think you would shoot? What would your stripe work be if you went down there right now?
So I haven't shot a ball from the free throw line in a long time. Maybe 50 for 55.
Okay.
I'm very confident.
Yeah.
I am too.
There's a lot of things that I can't do in life. Shooting free throws is one of those things that I can do. That's why when we talk about Trey Green or Dante Maddox and Ryan Conwell, what they've been able to do through the summer and fall is really impressive. John will tell you, those guys, they're making 50 in a row constantly. And it's a quality that you want to have as a basketball team where your guards at the end of games can make free throws. Think about Sule Boom a couple years ago. How many close games did we win because he went to the line and made both, or made 4 in a row or 6 in a row? So hopefully we can duplicate that.
I might get this number wrong, but I think Trey Green was 2,000 for 2,033 this summer.
Yeah, Trey Green was one of the best free throw shooter I've ever watched.
Yeah.
I actually, it's been a couple of times where I literally just sat in the gym and just literally watched his free throw routine. I was like,
Yeah,
so
it's crazy.
amazing.
He's like, you know, the 1% of the world. He's in that category in terms of free throw accuracy.
And I mean, just bottom of the net, no rim. Every make is a swish. I was like, wow.
I mean, can you wrap your mind around 2000 for 2033?
I can't.
That
'cause
is-
if you came down and watched me, it would be an all-day endeavor. We'd be there for a while.
So rapid fire here at the end, John. Ready? We're going to go Pittsburgh. If you want to throw a little Cleveland in, we'll let you do that. That's your hometown. Cincinnati. And again, I know you're still learning Cincinnati, but you know, you got 4 months under you right now. You kind of know where to go, whatever. Primanti Brothers or Skyline Chili?
Primanti Brothers, any day. Any day.
Wow, that was strong.
Any day.
So for those who don't know what Primanti's is, it's a place in Pittsburgh.
I've heard it.
It's Italian bread,
Sir.
like sliced in half, right? That's the sandwich. Coleslaw, French fries.
A lot of French fries, a lot of coleslaw.
And they would put it this way. This is not good for his diet or mine. For anyone at this day, but we're only talking in terms of like yesteryear. We don't eat that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
But what would be your go-to at Primanti's?
I used to get the turkey avo.
He's been to Primanti's a couple times. You know what mine was?
What was yours?
Kielbasa and egg.
Yeah.
So kielbasa, egg, French fries, coleslaw, tomato, and they cut it in half. Like you hear it, and you pull it open. You put some Red Hot on there.
The sandwich is
Takes
so
you-
big, you probably just need one half.
Yeah,
of the sandwich.
it's with you the next day.
Yeah,
this is
for sure.
it's exclusive to Pittsburgh.
They've tried it in other places. It doesn't go as well.
Nah.
But yeah,
It's like you got to be a
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgher to really like get into it
Yeah.
and like it.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah, that's good. It's good. And what about Skyline?
I do not like Skyline at
Yeah.
all. Never been a fan of
Paul's heart
Skyline.
just dropped.
Yeah.
Paul's-
I eat it like 3 times a week.
Never. Now, I remember the first time I tried, I was like, "This is not me."
I think and Primanti's is like this too. You either love it or
Yeah, definitely.
No, but what I respect is that you didn't put on a front. If you don't like it, just say you don't like it.
No, that's
you
right.
know?
I'm
No,
not,
I
I'm not a
respect
big
that.
fan.
Now I'm also telling you his answer on Primanti's. He likes Primanti's.
Primanti was a go-to. Was a go-to.
My place in Pittsburgh there's a sub shop. You probably will know it. It won't be as popular for you as it was for me because it's changed a little bit. It's called Uncle Sam's Subs.
Oh yeah, I know exactly.
right
what that is.
by the university.
Yeah.
But that was I was addicted. Yeah, I mean I loved that place. Yeah, so
Browns fan?
Of course, die hard.
yeah.
Die hard.
As they say, Brian Sipe won't be walking through that door anytime soon, John. When the Steelers play the Browns this year, and we get the Bengals, we have some. Yeah, we're going to have to really
Definitely.
make sure we're focused on that.
Is anybody a Ravens fan on this team?
Yeah, I think Roddy Anderson is a Ravens
Yeah,
fan.
Rodney is a Ravens
I was going to
fan.
say, do we have the whole AFC North checked off?
Yeah, we
got
do.
3 of the 4 here.
Yeah.
But
But John Fanta, and he's a big personality on Fox Sports, a friend of ours, and he's big in the Big East. He'll call a lot of games. He's from Cleveland, and no bigger Browns fan, although he turns on them very quickly.
He does.
But no bigger Browns fan than him. So you and him, John, will have a good kinship.
Sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir.
all right, Coach Adam, anything else before we wrap up here?
No.
All good? All right,
Sure.
John, how much water do you drink every day?
I drink a lot of water, honestly.
That's good.
A lot of water.
We need it. The body runs on water.
That's good.
A lot of water.
All right. Well, John, we appreciate you coming on today.
Appreciate you
taking
for
a
having
few
me.
minutes.
Actually, you mentioned something earlier that caught my attention.
Yeah.
When you went to hot yoga, you said you did not sweat.
It took me we were in the room for probably
45
45
minutes.
minutes.
Nah,
and
he wasn't sweating at all. I looked at him. I was like,
Yeah.
hey.
Are you the first person that's ever walked into hot yoga and didn't sweat? Have you ever seen John in hot yoga?
Oh.
Well, I want to.
Does that tell you anything about your hydration?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a look yourself in the mirror moment. When I looked at John looked like he was wearing swim trunks. Like he
Yeah.
just got out
Yeah.
of the pool.
That's what happens at hot yoga.
Yeah.
As soon
And
as
like-
I walk in, the heat's just.
They're moving. We were just sitting there watching to document.
Yeah. We were just sitting there. Yeah. Oh man, it was. Baum looks over about a half hour in. And he goes, "What are you sweating?" I said, no, we're good. We're all good. All right. Well, John, we appreciate you again coming on, and best of luck this season. It's great to have you here in Cincinnati. It's great to have you as a part of this team. I'm looking forward to watching you play. Just 6 weeks away.
Yes, sir.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
6 weeks away.
Yes, sir.
Opening night November 4th, first day of practice here as we sit here on Tuesday. So we'll wrap this one up. We appreciate everybody watching. And again, appreciate everybody that watched last week as well. 2 Holloway episode. Coach, extremely special episode last week. That was one of our most watched, most listened to episodes that we've done. And, I know that meant a lot to Two as well.
It meant a lot to Two, and you could just feel the love and passion towards him as a player here in the aftermath of him getting his jersey retired. The people that have come up to me in the comments and just how grateful his teammates are. And one thing, and John knows this, where you truly know about a player is from his teammates. Those guys never lie. And when they know they have a teammate that's special, they fight to the end for that teammate. And you could sense during Two's 4 years, so many of his teammates came forward and said, man, all right, this is what should have happened. So I'm happy for Two, but I'm also happy for our program. That's how things should work.
I know we've said last question about 5 times, but I keep meaning to ask you, how's the golf game coming?
Slow. It's slow and it's steady. I feel like I'm improving.
You a golfer, Coach?
I haven't really played a lot, but this year I played more than I ever have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a tough game, John.
Yeah.
It really is.
It humbles you.
I enjoy going out. This guy right here is a really good golfer. He loves it too.
I do. I'm a sicko.
All right, now we're going to wrap it up. Want to thank our presenting sponsor, Deer Park Roofing, and also the official payroll sponsor of the Sean Miller Podcast, Payroll Partners. Want to thank each and every one of you for watching and listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. Follow us on social media at Sean Miller Pod. We will see you next week on the Sean Miller Podcast.
This has been the Sean Miller Podcast, presented by Deer Park Roofing, with your hosts, Paul Fritchner and Adam Baum. Join us again soon for another episode with the head coach of the Xavier Musketeers, Sean Miller.